Today at Manchester Theatres, I am excited to be joined by Adam Filipe, who is currently touring as Joseph in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It is on right now at the Opera House in Manchester until the 9th of March. Now, Adam is no stranger to doing hit shows, having performed before in shows such as We Will Rock You, Titanic the Musical, West Side Story, and the original West End production of The Prince of Egypt. So, Adam, thank you so much for joining us today. And how are the Manchester audiences treating you so far?
Honestly, it's been quite a shock. I think that first night, just Manchester knows how to do it. Manchester knows how to do it. And we've had amazing audiences this entire run so far, but dare I say Manchester's been the best or the loudest, I would say, in terms of letting us know that they're having a good time, which we're so here for. The show is designed that we're all, it's designed that way, that by the end, and you know, we have the iconic mega mix at the end.
Yeah.
It's just really lovely every night. Yeah, it's been brilliant.
It is. And just give us, for people who may have been living under a rock, don't know the story, just give us a little bit of a brief reminder of the story, what it's all about.
Absolutely. So it's the biblical story of Joseph from the book of Genesis, but it's nowhere near as sort of, you know, big and gloomy as that. It's the story of Joseph, who is the son of Jacob, and is the favourite son of 12. And Jacob likes to really hammer that home and gives him a multicoloured coat just to really put the nail in the coffin and say, Joseph, you're my favourite son. I'm sure there will be no consequences from your other brothers if I give you this big shiny coat. And of course there are. And the other brothers have had enough of him. Also because he has these dreams, and he's sort of gifted in the way that he interprets dreams, and they tend to come true, which is important for later on. But he has these dreams, and he's been a little bit of a brat as well at the beginning, and sort of zhuzhing around in his coat and saying, I have these dreams where all of you lot bow down to me and I can't quite put my finger on it. And they all just get a bit fed up of him, basically. And that's sort of Joseph's main arc, and it's his arc of growing up a little bit, and his arc of sort of using his abilities to elevate him. But besides that, the musical is just this sort of joyous, family-friendly show that was actually designed initially to be a kids' show, like to be done in schools. And we have the kids that are a lot more involved in this production than they have been in previous productions, which I think is a nice homage to what was initially meant for the musical. But it's very much just a night of family fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and everybody's always up on their feet dancing by the end of it. There's also a wonderful sort of theme throughout, which is that no song is written in the same style. So you've got One More Angel, which is this massive like country hoedown. You've got Canaan Days, which is this melancholy French cafe, you know. I sing a little bit of rock. We've got the classic rock and roll song that Joe absolutely nails every single night. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
And I was going to ask you about that actually, because there's all of them ones, and there's like the Caribbean one with the Benjamin and the tree and everything. Is there an explanation that's ever been given as to why they're all in these different styles, or is it just because it was to engage children?
I think it might have been that, you know. I can't speak 100% confidently on this, but just what an amazing way over the course of 2 hours for a kid to be exposed to so many different styles of music. And they go, oh, I really like that one where they're plotting about what they're going to do to Joseph. And you go, yeah, well, that's actually like jazz based. And so if you like that, maybe you're into jazz. Or, you know, I love when Joseph sort of loses it at the end and nearly locks up Benjamin. You go, right, well, that's rock. That's just straight up classic rock. So if you like that, maybe you're into rock. And, you know, I think I don't know that there was another reason other than that, but I think that's a pretty good reason. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think, like you say, it was originally written for schools, and that's how a lot of people are introduced to this musical. But there's just something so clever about it that even when you say that, the audiences, I mean, I first heard it as a child and I've grown up still loving it. Still, it doesn't age, so it doesn't become childish. It's just fun and it grows with its audience. You get people of all ages coming and loving it, don't you?
Truly, I think it lives in the same sort of world as things like The Princess Bride or Labyrinth, things that you maybe watched as a kid and appreciated it as a kid, and took it for what it was, and then you grow up and you're like, I like it as an adult. It's like a Disney movie. Um, and one of the main things that we've seen through this is the sort of generational pass down of a couple of weeks ago we had 3 generations at stage door. We had a
Wow.
grandma and a mum and her daughter, and the grandma remembers the original with Jason.
Yeah.
The mum was sort of a little bit older than myself and grew up with Donnie in the film, and I had the honor of being this little girl's first Joseph that she ever saw. And
Oh,
it is just, I can't quite put my finger on why it's stuck and remained such a staple of British musical theatre.
yeah.
But I think you come see the show and you just understand why.
Yeah, you just love it, don't you? And you've got a fabulous cast as well. Of course, yourself, Christina Bianco's narrator, 3 different pharaohs
Yeah.
on tour, Jason Donovan, Joe McElderry, Matt Slack. Does that keep you on your toes, playing against different pharaohs in different cities?
Do you know what? And each person that does the role brings something new to it. Like when Donnie did it, we felt like we were at his show in Vegas. Like it was crazy, and he was my Joseph. So seeing him, and yeah, that was brilliant. Joe's incredible. And Joe brings something different than Donnie, and I'm sure Jason will bring something different. I'm sure Matt will bring something different. It's
Yeah,
just, and I have jokes with Joe that I didn't have with Donnie, and there are sections of the show that we do with Donnie that we don't do anymore, and it does. It's an actor's dream, and they're all so playful as well that you can offer something new and they'll go with it. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we swapped coats on the last night in Edinburgh, me and Donnie, and which was amazing in and of itself because people just were so there for seeing Donnie wearing the dream coat again on his last night. We did that, which
yeah.
was so special. There's a gag that I do with Joe every night that wouldn't have worked with Donnie just because of the nature of how they do it. It's really it is a bit of a gift.
Yeah, and I mean, just even there, the names that you're saying, it shows how big this show is.
Oh yeah.
And you've got even 3 of them there, like Donny Osmond, Joe McElderry, Jason Donovan. All 3 of them started as Joseph and have gone on to Pharaoh. So, is that in your future, do you think?
Hey, I'm sort of manifesting it already. I would love that, truly. Like
Yeah,
it's such a fun role, and it seems like such a lovely rite of passage
yeah,
to come back and do it. And yeah, absolutely. I feel like coming back and playing Pharaoh in this production sort of means like you've made your mark the on the Joseph legacy, and obviously I'd love for that to be the case.
and the fact that you're working with children in this as well, as you've mentioned, even more so than previous productions. So what is that like for you? And are you aware of how influential seeing you on stage to them will be? Because that's the start of their career and they're going to be growing up to wanting to be doing all of this. It's
You get moments like that, yeah. You get, there most days you're just like, yeah, the kids are here and they're great and they're doing their thing, and half their CVs are bigger than mine, which is, but they are so talented and they are brilliant. I had a really lovely moment actually with the swing team in Edinburgh because we have child swings as well, which is crazy. For those people that don't know what a swing is, a swing, instead of learning one track, they learn all the people in the ensemble. So we've got like these little child geniuses that have learned all the rest of their friends' tracks. And it's such a huge responsibility, but the reality is that means that they spend a lot of the time not on stage. And understandably, a few of them were quite upset when we were opening in Edinburgh. And, there was so much hype around the show and they were sort of on the sidelines. And one thing that I will say is that I've been in the industry about 9-10 years now, and I've sort of, I want to say climbed the ladder a little bit. I started off as a swing. I understudied a few roles. I did a few featured parts. And one of the things that I love about this, just to answer your question about how sort of influential we may or may not be to these kids, one of the most sort of precious things that I feel like I've been able to give them was sitting down with them in my coat, which obviously for them it means what it means, and saying to them, I was a swing, and yes, I know that this sucks a little bit now that all your friends are there on opening night and they're on stage, but you're going to have moments where you save this show because someone will go off and you'll jump in. Maybe it'll be halfway through the show, maybe it won't be. And that's going to be your moment. And this show doesn't work without you swings. And all this is applicable to the adult swings as well, but obviously it's harder to process as a kid. And one of the kids that was particularly upset with the whole situation ended up going on that night and really sort of coming into his own and saving the show, and he did a really, really great job. And I think that was really nice from the position that I'm in as playing Joseph, to be able to say, you have this as well, and this will alter your brain being a swing, and that will help you for the rest of your career. So in a very long-winded way, that's one of the ways that I was quite happy to share my experience with the new kids.
And as someone who works with children, can I just say thank you for that, because it is a huge thing for people who have made it, who are there to take the time to just sort of encourage them and nurture and understand and say, and I am actually going to show my students what you've just said, because I think it is so invaluable. So honestly, thank you for saying that. It is really, really important. So yeah, that's massive. Thank you. And I was going to ask you as well about the stamina involved in this show, because you're kind of never off stage and you're singing throughout.
Do you know what? Honestly, for what you've just said, I don't do half as much as the people in the ensemble. Like I've got Any Dream Will Do. I've got Close Every Door, and the beginning, to be fair, I've made the track more athletic than I probably needed to. But that's because I'm quite a physical person. I'm quite an athletic person, and I love that. And I love that Joseph is quite an explosive, young character at the beginning. But even what I've tried to add in to keep my fitness up in the show, I'm not doing half as much as the people in the ensemble. The talent that we've got in the ensemble is just crazy. And whenever I feel out of breath or tired, I literally just have to look to my right and I'm like, no, you're not. You're not tired. You're fine. Keep going.
Crack on with it.
Truly. It does feel like being shot out of a cannon, though, this show. And I think because it's so quick as well. It's only 2 hours, including an interval. So you feel like you're shot out of a cannon at the beginning with the narrator song and then Joseph's coat. And then by the time I know it, I'm in the jail. Spoilers. And it's Close Every Door. And that's a nice moment for me as well, because it's been so fast-paced.
Yeah.
And then that prison door shuts and there is this silence. And I get to just take a breath and go, right, for 3 minutes, it's just me and the audience now, and I can take my time with this. Yeah.
And I'm sure you get asked this one all the time, but how was it learning all of those colours in the right order?
Do you know what? I did the Kenwright tour as a kid.
Oh, did you?
And that just never leaves you, truly. It was one of the only things about this job that I didn't have to learn.
Because you knew it already.
And I felt so bad for the people in our cast that did.
You can see them all going.
So it's what comes after Fawn, and I'm like, I couldn't even tell you, but I know. It's truly the part of the show that I think about the least. There are moments that I've heard throughout the years, obviously, of being exposed to it, that have sort of been written in wrong. And relearning that has probably been the hardest bit. For me, Grovel Grovel is one of those bits that I think I learnt wrong as a kid. And so it's in there wrong, and I have to actively think about that every time I sing it. The colours, I can they're in there. It's not
Go
even,
on, go it.
huh?
Can you do it now for me then? Go on.
It was red and yellow and green and brown and scarlet and black and ochre and peach and ruby and olive and violet and fawn, lilac and gold and chocolate and mauve and cream and crimson and silver and rose, azure and lemon and rust and grey and purple and white and pink and orange and blue.
Yay! I love it. I love it. Is it heavy, that coat?
Huh?
Is it heavy wearing all of those colours on that coat?
So heavy. So heavy. No one, like, everyone tries it at some point. It goes like, oh my god, this is like weighty, and I'm like, yeah, I know, and I've been judging this around all the time.
Yeah.
But I can't complain because I spend 98% of the rest of the show wearing absolutely nothing.
A loincloth, yeah.
Yeah, truly.
Oh, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, Adam. Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Yeah, you can catch Adam and the fabulous cast of Joseph and his Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It's on at the Opera House right now till the 9th of March. I'm going to try and come along on Tuesday to watch it. So I will try and say hello to you. And yeah, thank you for everything. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Go, Joe.
Go, Joe. Thank you for having me.